Welcome to Daily Gossip. You will get daily Hollywood updates here. Remember to subscribe for the latest videos. But today, we're shifting focus. Not to Hollywood, but to a story that feels just as dramatic, controversial, and impactful as anything that might unfold on a red carpet or a movie screen. It's the real-life political and legal theater happening in Mexico. And at the heart of it is a woman whose name has become a national headline, Yasmín Esquivel Mossa, a sitting minister of the Suprema Corte de Justicia de la Nación, Mexico's highest court. She's not just a judge, she's one of the most powerful legal voices in the country. But recently, that power has been overshadowed by allegations that rocked her credibility to its core. Accusations of plagiarism, a thesis, a scandal, and now a final ruling. Or is it? In this video, we're diving deep, all 3,500 words deep, into the case of Yasmín Esquivel's alleged plagiarism, how the SCJN ruled that no administrative sanctions can proceed against her, and what this means not just for Esquivel, but for public trust in Mexico's judicial system, political power, academic ethics, and the thin line between influence and accountability. So buckle in, because this story has everything: denial, drama, institutional power struggles, and the eye-burning question: if not even the Supreme Court will hold its own accountable, who will? Let's begin by revisiting the origin of the scandal. It all started in late December 2022, when the prestigious news outlet, LatinUs, and academic figure, Guillermo Sheridan, released a shocking report. They had discovered significant similarities between the thesis submitted by Esquivel in 1987 to obtain her law degree and another thesis submitted a year earlier by a student named Edgar Ulysses Baez. The structure, the arguments, the footnotes, even the typos, were almost identical. To many, it seemed like a textbook case of plagiarism. The public reaction was immediate and fierce. Social media exploded. The story dominated news cycles, and the timing couldn't have been more politically charged. Esquivel was in contention to become the next president of the SCJN, a move widely seen as politically favorable to President Andrés Manuel López Obrador, who had previously appointed her. For critics, the scandal wasn't just about an old thesis. It was about the credibility of a potential Supreme Court president. Could someone with such a cloud over their academic history lead the highest court in Mexico? Yasmín Esquivel, for her part, denied the accusations completely. She claimed that she was the original author of the thesis and that the other student, Baez, had copied from her. Not the other way around. Her lawyer presented statements from alleged witnesses, professors, and school authorities who claimed to support her version. But doubts remained. Public trust was shaken, and although she did not ultimately win the presidency of the court, she remained on the bench, sparking outrage among academics, lawyers, and civil society. Fast forward to May 30th, 2025. After more than 2 years of back and forth, hearings, protests, and political posturing, the SCJN made its official ruling. The decision? The court ruled that no administrative sanction would proceed against Esquivel, despite the plagiarism allegations. The reasoning was not based on a declaration of innocence. Instead, the decision cited a lack of clear legal mechanisms to investigate and sanction a sitting minister of the SCJN for alleged past misconduct, especially when that misconduct occurred before her appointment to the bench. To put it bluntly, even if the plagiarism happened, there are no laws in place to punish her for it. And here's where things get even more dramatic. Esquivel herself did not recuse from the court's deliberations. meaning she participated in the voting process. Regarding her own case, this act, while technically not prohibited, has drawn criticism for being ethically questionable, creating a glaring conflict of interest that further erodes public faith in the objectivity of the court. Well, from a strictly legal standpoint, it closes the door on any administrative action. But in terms of public opinion, judicial legitimacy, and moral authority, the consequences are far from settled. Let's break it down. First, the message sent to the academic community, particularly students and professors, is deeply troubling. Academic integrity is a cornerstone of legal and intellectual life. The idea that someone can allegedly plagiarize their thesis and still rise to one of the most powerful legal positions in the country sends a chilling message. Ethics don't matter if you're connected enough. Second, the case raises serious concerns about the accountability of the judiciary. If Supreme Court justices can't be investigated or sanctioned for actions that would disqualify any ordinary citizen from public service, what kind of democracy are we operating in? Who watches? The watchers. Third, the implications for President López Obrador are significant. While he has stood by Esquivel, praising her loyalty and downplaying the controversy, this case could become part of a larger narrative that critics have been building, that his administration favors loyalists over merit, and that he is eroding institutional independence in favor of political consolidation. There's also the issue of gender and public scrutiny. Esquivel, as one of the few women in a male-dominated field, has faced particularly intense backlash. Some argue that the fury against her has been magnified because she's a woman, while others argue the opposite, that her continued position is a result of powerful political protections. The gender dynamics are complex and should not be ignored, but neither should they serve as a shield from legitimate accountability. The academic institutions involved have also faced harsh criticism. The Universidad Nacional Autónoma de México, UNAM, where Esquivel earned her law degree, initially began an investigation, but then backed off, citing procedural limitations. The public perception that UNAM folded under political pressure. A sad moment for a university long viewed as a bastion of academic integrity. That's the million-dollar question. The ruling by the SCJN leaves no recourse for administrative sanctions, but it also exposes a glaring hole in the country's legal framework. Civil society organizations, legal scholars, and activists are now calling for a reform of the judiciary, demanding clear laws that allow for the investigation and sanctioning of justices, especially for actions that compromise the integrity of the bench. There are also renewed calls for greater transparency in judicial appointments and more stringent academic oversight of public officials. The belief is that the system failed, and that failure cannot go unanswered, especially in a country where corruption has long plagued public institutions. But change is slow, and power is sticky. For now, Yasmín Esquivel remains on the bench, her authority legally intact, but morally questioned. The court may have closed the case, but in the court of public opinion, the trial is far from over. In the end, this is not just about one woman and one thesis. It's about the soul of the justice system. It's about whether rules apply to everyone or just to those without power. It's about whether we value truth over convenience, ethics over politics, and justice over loyalty. And most of all, it's about the future of Mexico's democracy and whether its institutions can survive the weight of scandal or whether they'll collapse under it. Thank you for watching Daily Gossip. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more hard-hitting, emotional, and revealing stories from around the world. What's your take on Yasmín Esquivel's case? Do you think the court made the right call? Or is this another case of the powerful protecting their own? Let us know in the comments. And remember, at Daily Gossip, we dig deeper, feel stronger, and always bring the truth with heart.